to the Scott Ballard Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. And Coach, as we look into this weekend, a couple games on the road at Southwest Minnesota State on Friday and then at Sioux Falls on Saturday. You mentioned earlier this week when we talked about the emergence of a couple players, specifically Connor Nagel, who had a great offensive game last Saturday, and then Kate Hartman, who's coming off the bench and is putting together some really, really quality minutes for your team. But you're seeing some growth out of some members of your team, and that's got to be an encouraging sign for you as we kind of hit this road stretch.
It is. You just want to see them, reap some of the rewards of hard work by getting some W's. Kate, I'm really impressed with how much Kate's improved defensively. That's never been her strong suit, and now she is giving us a lot of energy and effort at that end of the floor. We're also taking advantage of her ability to shoot the ball away from the basket. Honestly, Connor hit 7 threes the other night against Minot, but Kate hit 4 or 5 herself. Yep. And percentage-wise, Kate Hartman is our best three-point shooter percentage-wise. So there's not very many times to see a post player that is that efficient away from the basket, but that's her strength, the high post area and the three-point shot. She likes facing the basket. She's improved her post moves inside. But, Katie Zepsic is our low post presence. Kate Hartman's a high post presence, and we use both of them to complement Abby.
You now start kind of a stretch of your schedule where you see a couple opponents for a second time this year. Obviously, you've played Upper Iowa twice already, but you're getting into a stretch where you're playing a couple teams for a second time. What have Southwest and Sioux Falls, what have they done a little bit differently, and where have you seen them grow as you've been watching them and keeping tabs on them this year?
Well, first of all, we went to both of their places a year ago with a very experienced team, and we lost 2 close games. So life is much more challenging and difficult on the road no matter who you play. But this past weekend, Southwest lost a 3-point game at St. Cloud. They lost a 6-point game at Duluth. Both teams are, quality teams. Sioux Falls, we were very fortunate to beat them here. It was a close game. We won by 3. Their leading scorer was in terrible foul trouble the first time we played. Only played 20 minutes. Only scored a handful of points. They've changed their lineup. Sioux Falls is a team much like us in that, they're 7-7 right now. They've lost several close games in conference play. They're a really talented team offensively. They got a lot of speed. They got a lot of shooters. They hit 15 threes against St. Cloud and beat them on the road 92-80 or something like that this past Saturday. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves, and I'm sure that they have revenge on the mind when we come to their place, because they lost 2 close games to us in Upper Iowa back before Christmas. They've changed their lineup. They now, in their last game against St. Cloud, they went with basically a 5-guard lineup. And that poses some challenges for us with regards to, okay, are we going to try to match that with a smaller lineup, which puts our 2 bigs, not involved much. But the thing is, we don't have much depth right now at the guard spot. And if we go with the bigs, does that mean that we're going to play more zone? I have no idea. We've not made up our mind yet, but it poses some things to think about in terms of our scheme defensively going into that game, and then how do we match up? Offensively, we did not have a good shooting game against them the first time we played, but we got away with it because we were like 27-31 from the free throw line. And we out-rebounded them, it was like 15 or 20 we out-rebounded them. So we had a lot of offensive rebounds and made a lot of free throws. Every game is hard. And we just have to try to, recover from this past weekend mentally and physically and emotionally, and be very focused and prepared to play 2 quality opponents this weekend.
How much does having Connor at the point guard for an entire week of practice, how much does that help you if Tess is not able to come back for the weekend, get ready for a couple games on the road?
Well, the more reps that Connor can get, the more confident she's going to be going into it. These 2 teams, they throw presses at you, and Sioux Falls, they have 2 little point guards that they take turns with, that they they get in your pocket, from one baseline to the other, and that's not what Connor had to face, this past weekend. But we'll try to get her ready. Try to get her ready for that in practice this week, and keep our fingers crossed and hope that maybe Tessa can get back for at least one of the weekend games. But it's one of those deals where you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And if we get Tessa or Callie back, that will certainly give us some needed depth at the guard spots. But we're encouraged by how Emily Passon's played this past weekend.
Well, it's going to be a couple good ones on the road for the Warriors this week. Again, on Friday night at Southwest Minnesota State, then Saturday at Sioux Falls. A couple good ones, Coach. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Scott Ballard Show.